Respected Chair, distinguished panelists, ladies and gentlemen. I'll take the cue from my previous speakers and I'll focus on the security. I'll try to sensitize you why the security is necessary and why it has become so imperative right now when everybody is talking so much of ITs coming to government and all other areas, why it is necessary. I've just taken this definition from the e-governance document. E-governance is nothing but the application of information and computer technology for delivering government services, exchange of information, communication transaction, integration of various standalone systems, and services between government and citizen and government and businesses. Government services means I'll take in terms of police, whatever the police is doing, rendering a justice, prevention and detection of crime, how best we can do it, how best we can exchange the information with the public in a public domain, and how best we can transact our own informations. That's basically the focal point of e-governance, which is a critical mission mode project, which is called as the CCTNS. I picked up this definition once again from government document. Is the e-governance plan of India. The National E-Governance Plan of India seeks to lay foundation and provide the impetus for a long-term growth of e-governance within the country. The plan seeks to create the right governance and the institutional mechanism, set up the core infrastructure and policies and implement a number of mission mode projects. Mind you, the term mission mode project, which is nothing but a CCTNS on which I'll be talking and focusing on the security aspect. State and integrate service labels to create a citizen-centric and business-centric environment for the governance. Citizen-centric is the most important for us because we would like to bring the best interface with the public. This is basically, I have defined the model to be. We have got 3 layers. At the bottom layer, we have got assets. Every state is procuring the hardware, the software in terms of cash being provided, and the local software, mind you, and we have got a database which is our asset. At the middle layer, we have got a business intelligence logics, which is nothing but a core application software, all others, and our own. If we go for the plan B, they are coming out with FS system, which is nothing but a national FS. And we are bringing out the dial 100, ABLS, blah, 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 to modernize the whole police functioning. And at the top is the user environment, that is nothing but access control, where the public will come, access, enter into the second layer, get the informations, and get the whole thing done. This will be, in a nutshell, is a core model for the CCTNS and for the e-governance in Madhya Pradesh, or in India, or specifically in Madhya Pradesh also. It provides what? Good governance. Theoretically, yes, it is right. Good governance means what are we going to do? We are going to do all kind of related to the crime. Mind you, this mission mode project is only for crime related. It is nothing but like a ERP system, nothing for our own internal functioning. So good governance in terms of detection of crime. How do we detect the crime? We are now laying emphasis on integrating all the state, because boundaries are no more a barrier for a criminal. Criminals have broken the boundary. The whole globe is becoming one. Like in a cyber crime, there's no boundaries at all. Even in a physical crime, there is no physical boundaries of the state. They are freely moving, they are rapidly moving, and they are committing crime in one state another. There are interstate gangs and everything is happening. So it is basically to provide the good governance in terms of connecting all the states. The whole country will be a one police station. How do we do that? We are nothing but envisage the total plan under CCTNS by which we will be connecting the whole country. So providing good governance means we will be tracking the criminal throughout the country. The tracking will be done by having fingerprint biometrics, by using different biometrics like face and all other. Trust and accountability will be achieved when we really bring out and bring the success into the system. Citizen awareness and empowerment, certainly today when the citizens really moves from pillar to post in getting a small report from police station, at least he will be empowered that he can download the reports. He can make the inquiries by sitting at his home. Citizens welfare, we will provide all kind of welfare measures. democracy will be strengthened and national economic growth. Yes, we will be contributing to the growth. Mind you, I have added this word. Police is also contributing to the growth. I take Punjab as an example. When there was a terrorism, the growth was in a negative. Now, when the peace came, the growth really come up. So I take, because I deliberately say that even the policing is contributing to the growth. So we are also contributing to national growth. Now, what is the question? If you really go with the SWOT analysis, we have to make out this, when we do so much, there is always a threat and there are always a challenges. Challenges we really face, by which we have a change management system the NCRB is doing and bringing out how the change should be brought in. So I'll take the challenges which are there in all the state. We have a complexity because everything is changing from traditional working to the complex system, desirable security, lack of technical capabilities. States are still not ready to adopt because lack of technical capability, non-availability of the standards. Standards are really becoming a problems. Like when I was doing the benchmarking of national affairs, I had a problem of how do I integrate the CADB, criminal activity data. Andhra Pradesh has got one set of database field, Madhya Pradesh has got different, UP has got different. The basis is that we have to standardize the whole system and we have to bring at par. Maybe I just chose the NIST system or FBI next generation system so that at least we not only become at par in nation but also at par at the world level. Multiple stakeholder as such, yes, there are plenty of states, legacy environment, reactive security approaches. These are the basically challenges. Now I will focus the threats, which are the major challenge in times to come. And I think that's the focus of this workshop or one day seminar. What are the threats? Virus attacks, everybody knows, everybody faces. Somebody purchases Symantec, this, that, why not, quick heal. Virus threats will remain. You take one signature, correct one virus, tomorrow they will create another virus because that's a business. They are doing it and they will continue to do it. Virus will remain and it will remain the threat everywhere. Hacking, again a challenge. I'll take you one national news and tell you how hacking is a big problem. And when the 20,000 of police sites in country have been hacked, defacement, I really suffered when I was the IG of SCRB in Madhya Pradesh. My own site, Madhya Pradesh police site, was defaced. And mind you, we are the Turkish hackers, and they put some flag, all other information. Mind you, I got the information in time and whole night we worked on it and we corrected. But yes, it was defaced. That's a reality. Unauthorized access, yes, we have all those problems. Unauthorized access from our own staff and from the outside. DOS attacks, intelligence gathering. Phishing is a new term which is coming, and the most important term is phishing. Phishing, I think, please mind you, never give all your vital information regarding credit card and all other to any other site which is not authorized, And sometimes phishing is done certainly by claiming that it is authorized site and getting all informations away. Phishing is IVRS, you know that somebody will be taking or calling you saying that I am the basically legible and eligible person to take all the records regarding your credit card, regarding your vital information and record everything, claiming that he is right, but he is impersonating himself and taking all kind of information. So phishing is a new term, and zero-day exploit is another term. Like there are many exploits which are happening, but until it comes into the market, that remains the zero-day exploit. Okay, this may happen with Windows also, that it may not be discovered today, and the person who knows that there is an exploit, and all the systems who are having the Windows, they may be suffering it, and one day it comes into the market, it's all zero-day exploit. So these are basically the threats today. And keeping this into the background, what do we have to do? Again, to sensitize, this is the recent news. I took it on February 14, 2012. The title was 20,000 Indian websites come under attack from Bangladeshi hackers. 20,000, mind you. In our own country, they were hacked. There is a counter attack also, which I can give you. I have not noted down here. Our own attacker also hacked Bangladesh PMO site. And 2 of the criminals have been caught. They have been caught from Hyderabad, The police is investigating, but this is a vulnerability. This is basically, we are really the soft target. Okay, I have taken some statistics also. The source is a CERT, Computer Emergency Response Team, and the statistics are that total 1425 sites, mainly .com and .in. .in the highest, they are 834 and 502 are .com sites. These are basically tip of an iceberg, mind you. There are plenty of sites which are hacked, and we don't even know that they are hacked and they are not even reported. So this particular vital information that these many sites are basically the defacement have been taken place. This shows that basically we are very, very vulnerable. One more statistical data. These are basically the number of proxy servers. This is, I have taken from the same source CERT in 2011. See, in January there were 240 proxy server. In November the number was 534. That's more than double. It's another challenge, and it's phenomenally rising. Cyber intrusion during November 2011. See that 50% cases have been reporting from phishing. 17% from virus and malicious attacks. These are the two areas which I am really concerned, and we should be as a police officer to protect our own sites and to protect the public at large. So these are the major areas I am concerned. This is a worldwide. Why I have taken this slide also is that I'm talking about the internet, I'm talking about laptop, desktop, or whatnot. My own system which CC10 is giving, but there is a major area. The major area is a mobile, because now everybody is working on a mobile, and whole lot of data. You have configured your mobile for email, so mobiles are also under attack. So please beware for the mobile also. This is basically proactive security. I have given you the majors. This is element of information security. I have given you the major, and security audit is the most important. I'll be concluding by saying that now there is a policy of the government of India, but with the perspective of CCTNS, because the IG NCRB is sitting there and JS is also there, we have to come out with the security policy. And right now we have to inform to all the states that they must start going for auditing the security, not in the same manner as they will be doing financial audit once in a year. So this is this is highly important. In case it is a highest vulnerable site, then it should be immediately done. Otherwise, at least it should be quarterly done. Maybe it could be internal audit, or maybe it could be external audit. All the state should be prepared, and maybe the instruction someday, looking to all these threats, will go to states and also at the central government, that we must audit our own things. We must see how vulnerable the site is. After that, we penetrate and see that our own system is secure or not. Thank you very much.